Hey kiddies, Greg here, Quackster on the forums, and I just got back from my doctor's, and it's great news. Despite how this voice sounds, it sounds like I'm ready to kick any second. But I'm doing good, and I'm titling this "Vaping Saved My Life" because it has. Um, Let me give you a little background on me. I smoked for 44 years, and it was all menthol 100s, usually Newports or Salem 100s. And back in fall of '10, I was diagnosed with throat cancer, stage 3. And it wasn't good, but luckily I was able to avoid chemo and a feeding tube because I promised my doctors and all the oncologists I would, some way or another, as raw and swollen as my throat was, force food down. The last thing I wanted was a feeding tube. So I did. And wasn't fun at times, but I'll tell you what, I didn't have a feeding tube. So I'm going to share some photos here of my experience. And if anyone out there has loved ones or friends that they're really trying to quit cigarettes, pestering them, to get into vaping, feel free to show them this video or these pictures. I have no problem at all with it. It's something nobody wants to go through. So let me run through a few pictures here. Oh yeah, jeez. And anyways, it was 3 years ago I finished up radiation. And my doctors all told me, you keep smoking, you're going to be dead. It's just a matter of time. It's going to come back with a vengeance. And so I did this dance on and off for about a year, a little over a year, between cigarettes and vaping. And it was a struggle, let me tell you. But I've been vaping full time now for the past year and a half, easy. And I still get the satisfaction that I would have gotten with a cigarette, and I enjoy it more. And I'm not stinking up myself or the house and everything around me. What was I going to go to here next? Well, anyways, let me run through some of these pictures here. And some are going to be very graphic and everything, and I'll explain them as they play through here. Oh, I know where I was going. Jeez, I get sidetracked so easy. I'm getting to be an old man here. Yeah, after I finished up radiation, I had to go and what I call deep throat a scope, or my ENT, every month and a half at that point. That's ears, nose, throat specialist. He worked with all my oncologists. They put this little small scope up into your sinuses, and then it works back down into your throat and larynx. And then it's in there for a minute or two, and they're looking it all over and everything. Well, I had to have that done every month and a half for the first couple of years there. And then it got trimmed to 3 months. And then I just saw him, and now we're at 6 months, and he says it looks great. The only thing is the voice, and that's from scar tissue and related matters there from the radiation initially. But I can live with that. At least I can speak. It's better than walking around with a trach in my throat the rest of my life. I'm too much of a yacker. I like yakking. I can't imagine living without being able to speak. So let me run through some of these pictures. I feel great about hearing this. And I'll explain some of these, and they're going to be graphic. But this is what you possibly face if you keep smoking. Anybody, I'm begging you, that you think this might help to quit smoking, please show it to them, okay? Okay, I'll be back in a second. Okay, that's my radiation mask. I keep it hung over up on my wall here as a daily reminder of what I went through. Okay, this is on one of the radiation tables there. This is when I first started my radiation therapy. Okay, this is clamped right down on the table, so you can't move with all the radiation targets in place. Okay, this was about 2 weeks into it, and it was starting to feel really uncomfortable. Okay, this was shortly after that picture there, the previous one. Wasn't getting any better at that point. Okay, this was after I had finished up radiation therapy. Um, and this was a fair amount of time after I had finished up. As you can see, all of my neck skin had just gone completely leathery and just dry like a piece of dried out rotten old leather. God, I love vaping. Okay, as I continued talking to all my doctors, I explained to them all what was in the juices, what it was all about. And not one of them said there's one thing in there that can hurt you. And I explained it all to my oncologist, my GP, my ENT, and every other tech and doctor in between. Not one of them said there's any ingredient in any of this that's going to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. Worst case scenario, you're maintaining your addiction or dependency, whatever one wants to call it, to nicotine. And as they said, in essence, that's no worse than having 2 to 5 cups of coffee throughout the day. It's on the same level of drug as caffeine. I explained to them all. There's nothing but food flavoring in these, uh, vegetable glycerin, and a little bit of nicotine juice, and sometimes propylene glycol. And as far as the propylene glycol goes, you see so much of this bullshit in the media with people fighting this that it's antifreeze. You know what? Yes! It's fucking antifreeze. It's the same stuff they use to winterize an RV, your home for the winter, or whatever, in your water lines that you drink and use. It's totally harmless. So yes, it's not ethylene glycol, it's propylene glycol. Ethylene glycol will kill you. I hate getting on this rant. Every time I hear this and see this online, it pisses me off so much. I'm sorry. My doctors told me propylene glycol they use in air scrubbers in hospitals and offices. It's in pharmaceuticals. It's in food products. It's in your toothpaste. It's in everything that you come in contact with or use at least once a day. So nobody ever seems to mention this. And I know I'm not the first, but I don't see anybody ever mentioning that. But okay, I'm done with my rant. I'm sorry. But my doctors have all signed off on vaping. And I even showed them, I took off a top cap and explained the process, how it all works and everything. And they said, go for it. If it keeps you away from the cigarettes, you're going to do 100%. So there's only one person yet that still smokes in this house. Well, actually two. We've got a tenant that rents from us. He smokes, but, hey, we keep peace with that. And I hate to say it, our little sweetheart daughter, Cleo, she's still smoking, and I'll post a couple pictures of her. You will not be disappointed. Okay, this is our little sweetheart, Cleo. We've tried talking to her and explaining to her it's not good for her, but she don't listen. I just love these pictures. She used to love either the taste or the smell of our menthol cigarettes when we were smoking. I cherish these pictures. Okay, just to quickly summarize here. I'm so thankful that despite the way I sound, my throat is progressing really good. And I will never ever go back to cigarettes again. I have no needs, feelings, thoughts, urges, or anything for it. And it has definitely saved my life. All of my doctors, oncologists told me if I kept steadily smoking it would be within 1 to 2 years. My lung cancer would be back, or not lung cancer, throat cancer would be back, and probably going to lung cancer too. And I have a friend of mine right now that's dying from lung cancer. He went through radiation and chemo, and he would not stop smoking. I tried getting him vaping, and he just wouldn't do it. So I'm begging all of you, keep hammering away at all your loved ones and friends that are still smoking. I mean, don't be overly zealous like these religious zealots are, but keep the firm pressure on them. I'll tell you, it's the biggest curse I've ever had in my life. I'm so sorry I did this to myself for 44 years. But I hope maybe this video will help someone see it that's still smoking or on the fence back and forth. So hopefully this video will do some good for somebody out there in the world. Okay, I enjoy all you guys on the forums, and thanks for watching. It means a lot. Bye.